Brendan, Tiki Tierney, how are you today, buddy?
No, I'm doing good, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, well, let me ask you that. You're welcome. Obviously, everybody's got some reactions to the high seeds, the usual spots, the 5-12s, the spots where there's always a potential pitfall for a high seed to get knocked off by an underdog. But is there a team you think that lies in the 3-4 threshold that you really believe can win a national championship? I wanted to start with that. That's the, is there somebody below that top two lines that really jumps out to you?
Yes, clearly. I think the best 3 seed that the tournament's seen in a very long time is UCLA. I think they obviously could have been possibly a 2 seed had they won the Pac-12 tournament or even moved into the 1. This is a team that's already beat Kentucky this year. This is a very good team. They beat Kentucky at Kentucky. They beat Oregon. They beat Arizona. So you're talking about a ball club that's very talented. When you're talking about Alonzo Ball, everything he's done with this team, averaging 8 assists, 15 points. He's been a great leader. Bryce Alford is shooting the ball well. So they have shooters with Alford and Hamilton. Great bigs with TJ Leaf and Welsh. Welsh never misses a mid-range jumper. Leaf is an high NBA prospect as well. So this is a very talented team that's certainly talented enough to come out of the South region.
Hey, Brendan, do you think that any of the stuff that Lonzo's dad has been saying and the attention that he's been getting, isn't any distraction out there for UCLA?
No, I don't think it's a distraction at all. Do I like it? No. He's acting like he's almost acting like Kris Jenner. He's acting like a Black Kardashian. I don't like it. But
Hey,
I love that.
I mean, seriously,
but they all get paid.
That's exactly what he's doing. He's dancing in his son's spotlight, trying to get some for himself, and throwing his sons out there, trying to basically make as much money as possible off of them, which isn't bad, making money, but it's just too brash for me. I don't like it. I think some of his ideas about branding could possibly be okay, but I think he's putting his own face out there too much at Lonzo's expense. The kids seem like they're used to it. They grew up around him. Doesn't bother them. I don't think it bothers the players at UCLA. I think it's just simply done in poor taste.
I think we're on the same page with that. Talking to Brendan Haywood, former Tar Heels star, big man in the NBA. Obviously, he's doing his thing on TV, part of the CBS family, and he's all over the coverage. Next couple of weeks going to be a lot of fun.
Brendan, there's a lot been said about Villanova and the opportunity, but also the challenge of repeating as national champion. Now, they did everything they needed to do. 31 wins they had in the regular in the season, including the Big East tournament. How well positioned are they to be a repeat champion? Because it's really hard to do, as we all know.
It's very hard to repeat, Tiki. Just to get your mind focused for another run. Just to win one championship, you feel fortunate. To win 2 and go do it back-to-back, it's incredibly hard to do. And the thing about Villanova is this year they don't have a Sheffel inside who wasn't a star but was very solid for them last year. He was good enough where you could throw him the ball and he could get a couple of buckets inside, and he gave them a defensive presence they don't really have this year. They're a smaller basketball team. And then the second part of why it's going to be hard for them to repeat, they have the hardest 2 in the whole tournament. They have Duke, which probably could have been a 1. A lot of people thought they should have been a 1. And this is probably the most talented team in college basketball. There's not another team that has this many wing players with that much talent. Like if Luke Kennard gets in foul trouble, that's fine. We just sub in Grayson Allen. We just sub in Frank Jackson. They have Tatum. They have so much talent at the wings, and all those guys shoot the ball incredibly well that I think Duke will be a very tough matchup for Villanova.
I agree. I love what Jay Wright does. I love Josh Hart. I love Chris Jenkins. I love the kid DiVincenzo. He's going to be a superstar. That kid's, boy, you'll appreciate this old school reference, I think. I was talking to somebody about DiVincenzo, and I said it reminds me maybe of a bouncier Bobby Sora. How's that sound?
I like that because I remember Bob Sora. He was up, man. So I definitely like that comparison. I think it's very strong. They do have a lot of similarities.
But I'm not even sure if they get past once they beat Mount St. Mary's. Wisconsin, I know, has been a little erratic the last month or so, but there's a lot of experience there. And Vatech, no experience, first time of the dance since '07, but I'm sure you're a big Buzz Williams fan like I am. Can Wisconsin or, Virginia Tech, forget about Duke, can they knock off the defending champs?
This is the NCAA tournament where the improbable always happens. So do I have that happening in my bracket? No. Could Wisconsin or Virginia Tech beat Villanova? Yes. This is the Villanova team. They lost twice to Butler.
That's true.
Butler's good, but not great. So if you lose twice to Butler, you can clearly lose to Wisconsin, who has Hap inside, and they have Nigel. And so they have a lot of different Nigel Hayes. So they have a lot of different things they can throw at you. Virginia Tech, what they do as far as shooting the three. So, yeah, they could clearly lose early in the tournament. I have them advancing, playing Duke in the Elite Eight, and then Duke going to the Final Four. But, yeah, so Wisconsin or Virginia Tech beating Villanova, it wouldn't be a shocker this year because of the parity of college basketball. We don't have a team like that Kentucky team that was undefeated a couple of years ago going to the tournament where everybody thought they were going to win.
Is it Brendan? Is it better that way, or I feel like the average fan likes tuning in with the possibility of a quote unquote unbeatable team losing? Listen, we're in this every day, so we're just ready for the tournament. But do you think this is good for the fringe fan or bad?
I think it's great because there's going to be so many more entertaining games. Like, I get it when you're like, hey, I want to see Goliath either win it or go down. So either you're rooting against Goliath or you're cheering for him. I get that. But, man, when you look at some of these great tournament games, when you look at a Kentucky might have to play a UCLA, and that team is chopped, and both those teams have 3 to 4 pros on each side, that's great basketball. When you look at a team like Arizona that could possibly match up with a Florida State, that's pros all over the court. Same thing as if Kansas has to play Louisville. Of course, I'm projecting out, which some of these matches might not happen, but there is so much talent that there's going to be such great games. I think it gives all the tournament and all the brackets a little bit more pop because everybody, from the 1 to the 3 seed, any of those teams can go out of there.
All right, we're talking to Brendan Haywood, played at North Carolina, played a long time in the NBA as well. Big man, he's CBS Sports College Hoops analyst, and he's with us here on Tiki and Tierney.
BT's not giving my Cavaliers any love, man. Before Villanova gets to Duke,
score 50 points to get some love, man.
They got to get through Virginia. They only beat them by 2 points earlier in the season. But talking about one of the number ones, Kansas is a team. We think they're the elite team in this tournament, but John Rothstein and I think the others, BT as well, they could probably lose early. Do you see that happening?
Well, Bill Self has gone out early before. I mean, like I said, anybody can go out early. In the last decade, we've seen Duke go out early. As great as Mike Krzyzewski is, we've seen Duke lose several games like to Lehigh and I think Mercer. So we've seen those teams lose early. Kansas can definitely lose early because they're not strong inside. They're big men. This is probably the first time I've seen Kansas in a decade without a dominant pro-level big man. So they don't have that advantage inside that they normally do. So if Kansas goes out there and let's just say, for the sake of argument, they get matched up against Iowa State. Iowa State has already beat Kansas.
Yeah.
so they could easily they could go out. There is not a power team. Any of these 1 seeds can lose on a given night, basically after they play the 16 seed. That's where the tournament is right now. Gonzaga could easily lose to Northwestern, and if they get past them, they could definitely lose to a team like a Notre Dame or West Virginia. All these number 1 seeds, there are no locks this year.
No, I'm with you on that. But here's the one thing that, obviously Bill Self has won a ton of games, but he's had some very premature exits early across his career in the NCAA tournament. But for whatever reason, it seems like Sean Miller, who's come up short a few too many times for others, despite having good teams every year, it seems, he escapes the pressure and that true biting criticism. This is a huge year for Sean Miller. He's got to go deep, no?
I don't think he has to go deep because it's not like his job's on the line.
No, I understand, but perceptually. I'm not saying he's going to get fired, but I mean, eventually, you're going to win 25 games and not get to the Elite Eight or the Final Four. I mean, I'm going to kind of get tired of hearing about Arizona every year.
But you know what? It was the same. You brought up Jay Wright last year. I think we might have even talked about Jay Wright last year on this show.
I think we did.
We definitely did.
And it was the same type of question. Does Jay Wright have to? No, he doesn't have to win because he's going to get a great opportunity next year, and you never know what's going to happen in that year.
Yeah.
Does Sean Miller have to win? No. Would it be great to get the monkey off his back? Yes. But guess what? He's going to be coaching for a long time at a power school like Arizona. It's eventually going to happen. And for some reason, Arizona doesn't have the same pressure as Duke, Carolina, Kentucky. It's not the same type of heat. Like nationally, he doesn't hit the same type of heat.
Yeah, that was kind of my point. And I understand that Arizona's not a blue blood, but I mean, Lute Olson, I mean, they're a borderline blue blood. I mean, pretty damn good for a long time in the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s. I mean, it just seems, maybe it's a West Coast thing. I don't know. It just seems like he doesn't feel the heat. And I'm not even trying to necessarily apply it because I like Sean Miller, but at some point I got to see you really, cut down a net of significance. Otherwise, I can't put you in the conversation of greatest coaches in the country. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, you don't have to put him in the great. I think you have to earn your way into the conversation of greatest coach in the country. So does he have to Does he have to make it to a Final Four or possibly win a championship to be involved in that conversation? Yeah, that's pretty much how it is. But at the same time, how many Final Fours did John Chaney go to?
0.
And he was widely considered a great coach. Am I right?
Not as great. I don't consider him as great as, I mean, obviously very good and revered,
I'm not talking about
but you know what I'm saying.
But like to the masses, John Chaney was considered a pretty good coach in his day.
He was very good. But I have him on that second tier. But I mean, we're splitting hairs. I mean, but the thing is, Chaney did it for 30 years, so or maybe even more. I guess it's early enough in Miller's coaching development, and I'm not trying to make a definitive statement on where I think he ranks. I think he's really, really good. I guess I'm just saying, kind of like even with Alford a couple of years ago in New Mexico. I mean, I don't know. Just certain guys seem to show up small, despite having a lot of talent, and thus far, Sean Miller's teams have kind of played that way. I don't think you would disagree with that.
He's had some times where his teams haven't won games, but I for the most part, it's not like Sean Miller has a history of losing in the first round.
No, I grant you that.
So once you get into the Elite Eight and the Sweet 16s and all these teams, you start playing against a really good team. Anybody can go out on any given night, but I do think Sean Miller is set up this year to make a run. He has the weakest bracket. If I was a team, I would want to play where Arizona is seeded right now.
I agree.
Yeah, he has the weakest number 1 seed. I think he has one of the weaker 3 seeds in Florida State. They have talent, but it doesn't always come together.
Agree.
Then you look out there. He doesn't have a Kentucky or a Duke or UCLA or Louisville, the team that just terrifies you in his bracket. So I think he's set up to make a run this year. Would it be great to see it? Yes, I think he's a great young coach. Does he have to do it this year? No, he has plenty of time, and we know eventually it will get done, as we saw with Jay Wright.
Fair enough, man. Brendan, good stuff. Keep doing your thing on the network. Of course, you and Wally, our boy Rothstein, Coach Gillen, you guys doing a nice job. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, man. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.